The Empirical Energy Podcast blows open the silent revolution, rewriting the rules of global energy markets. Measured, verified energy is no longer an alternative. It's becoming the gold standard. We dive deep with the producers, traders, consultants, and renegades driving this seismic shift. Step inside the raw mechanics of how verification and blockchain-fueled trading are dismantling the old systems and creating a future where alternative energy doesn't just compete, it takes over. This is the movement of reshaping energy as we know it, bold, unstoppable, and just getting started. Here is your host, Mark Smith.
Hey everybody, this is Mark Smith, host of the Empirical Energy Podcast, where we talk about the intersection of energy, blockchain, and AI. And I'm here today with Mehdi, who is the author of an upcoming book called Enterprise GenAI for Energy Executives. So welcome, Mehdi, to the podcast.
Thank you, Mark, for having me.
Yeah. Let's talk about the book. Okay. So what inspired you to write a book about GenAI for energy executives? Why now? What was the catalyst?
This is a new technology. I work in the different industry. I work in the robotic for 7 years, work in the finance, work in the oil industry. And then always what I see when the new technology is coming, there's a gap between the managers and the technical people. And then I try to address this gap, that how we should fill this gap from the technical to the managers, so everyone be on the same page, understanding what is the Gen AI, why we need it, why now, and then how the organizations or leader of the organization can leverage this Gen AI, this new GPT, ChatGPT, Gemini, different LLM that is coming, and then leverage it in order to increase their return of investment, using it through the organization, apply it to the different departments, and then take advantage of this new technology that is coming. The challenge is always the gap in terms of the skills, in terms of the learning. You have to update your skills, new things is coming every week, and then how you can leverage those in order to create that differentiation factors between you and your competition.
You and I have been working on AI and energy type projects for 4 or 5 years now. So tell me about your personal journey, because you've been doing energy and AI for quite some time. Talk about your journey there.
So I work in a couple of different industry, and then my background is AI. I got my PhD from USC, University of Southern California, and then always work in the AI industry, try to implement it for different use cases. It doesn't matter to me where the data is coming, if it is coming from the oil industry or robotics or finance, how we can leverage this data, how we can build the models in order to solve some of those challenges or issues that everyone has. The field is different right now compared to a couple of years back. Previously, we had, I don't know, if we have 10,000 tasks, you have to build 10,000 models in order to solve those. Right now, you may have one model that solve all of those 10,000 tasks that you have. The new things that is coming, this generative AI, is completely changing the game. And then here, I'm trying to put all of those things together in a one book to explain why we need this new technology. It is not going to be luxury anymore. That a couple of years back, it's okay to have AI, you have to have it in different industry, but right now it is essential. It is essential that you are on top of this new technology, bring it to your organizations. Otherwise, you will fall back. The performance of individual of your organization is going to increase by having Gen AI. The performance of the whole company and the return of the investment is going to much higher when you bring this Gen AI. And then you are going to create that IP and the differentiation factors and then separate yourself from the competitions by having this GPT in your organization. So that is the whole idea behind the book. I'm trying to bring more use cases from the industry into the book, but if you would like, we can go through the content, but I don't know, where do you want to
Yeah. So now I'm imagining a C-suite, a CEO, a C-suite person from an energy executive who's going to read this book. So what are they going to get out of this book? And why should they read this now? Tell me about what's inside the book for the executive.
As I mentioned, this is not a luxury, this is essential. So they have to understand this new generative AI. Why is that? What is the difference between this generative AI, the new way of the AI, and then how is that different from the traditional AI, and then how they can put the company and organization in the way to leverage this. So if you go through the different department in the organization, they may have lots of different problems, issues that they have to solve. So you will end up with lots of different use cases. Where to start? Which use case is going to have higher impact, and then it is going to be feasible compared to some of those use cases that could be higher impact but it's going to be complex, or some of those use cases that's going to be lower impact but feasible or complex. So the first thing is that if you want to start bring this GPT or LLM into your organizations, you have to know where you have to apply it. You have to have lists of the use cases that you want to solve these problems. And then you have to sort them. You have to know which one is going to be feasible, which one is going to be essential for your company in order to start. So the whole journey of the book starts with that. Give you the idea about the use cases, how to sort them, what are the features that you have to look, if it's going to be generating the IP, if it is going to generate new value for your customers, how you should look at these different features, and then how you should value them. If you have a budget, or are you okay with the cost? What is the, if the technology is ready or not? So all of these questions is going to help you to identify the use cases. That's the first thing that everyone should know. That okay, if I want to bring GPT or LLM, this new generative AI to the organization, okay, what use cases should I use? The list of the use cases, that the mechanism, or in the book, I will go through all of those steps that you have to take in order to see which of those use cases is going to be more important, is going to generate more value, and then it is going to be feasible. And then you can start with that. So that's the first step. The second part is going to be, if you want to build something, that's a very traditional question. Should I buy it or should I build it? Is my organization ready to build something like that? Or should I go and then start communicating with some of those vendors in order to bring this technology to the organization? So that is the $1 million question. Should I buy or build? And then there are steps in order to understand where to start, right? So if you want to build something completely from scratch, that's one end of the story. The other part is going to be completely go and then buy it from the vendors. But there are things in middle, right? So you can go start looking at the open source solutions. You can go and then start some of those low stack, no coding solutions in order to bring this technology to your organization. But you have to also answer lots of different questions. Do we have a budget to go and then start with the vendors? Or should we do the custom build in the organization? Or should we have some of those APIs that is available through OpenAI, through Gemini, and then use those in order to solve some of those problems that they are facing. The features that you have to look in order to decide which of these is going to be more important for you in order to answer buy and build. There are different steps in order to go through. You can talk about what is the timeline. Do we have a budget in order to build something, or should we go, right? So to give you some example, if you want to build a model from scratch, it may take a couple of $1 million in order to build it. But if you go buy it from the vendors, it's going to be subscriptions, a couple of $100, right? So that the difference is huge. But having said that, it may generate IP for you. It may generate control over the output that you have. It is going to be customizable when you build it. So you have to go up to all of these exercises in order to decide, okay, if I have the use cases, should I buy or build? That's a second part of the book that's walk you through these steps in order to understand what you should do next. And then if you decide to go with the vendors, how we should do the vendor assessment. What are the things that you have to do in the lens of the GenAI? This vendor is creditable or not? Is it going to be generate custom solution for me or not? What, how they are handling the security and compliance? What they want to do with my data. So are they going to use this data for other customers? I'm okay with that or I'm not okay with that. So all of those questions, the framework is there in the book that you can understand. Then you try to decide if you want to build or buy this new technology in order to bring it to your organization.
So, Mehdi, this book you're talking about, I know you have an academic background, but this is not based on theoretical stuff. You're actually doing this right now, right?
Yeah,
You're making all these decisions. This because you're actually building products using Gen AI and making all these decisions. So a C-suite executive is going to get the benefit of all the stuff that you're actually doing. You're paying I usually say, you're paying the dumb tax. So these guys don't have to. They're going to benefit from all the experience that you're actually using this stuff and actually going through this right now.
yeah, definitely. Lots of things happening in the GenAI domain. From starting that, if you want to do the prompt engineering, and then that is something that everyone's doing. If you have a chat GPT or Gemini, you go there and then type and then get the answer that you're looking for. That is called prompting in the technical word. But other parts as well, right? So you can do the fine tuning. You can go with the agentic stuff, right? So which one is going to solve which problem? How you should have understanding about all of these different way of the solving the problem. Which one is going to be better for you? What are the data that is available for you? So you better understand, for example, in energy sectors, most of the data is in the tables, right? So how to deal with those data in the tables compared to the text data that is available to the GPT. Yeah, building lots of different applications on top of the GPT and Gemini and then OpenAI and then Bedrock. All of these big companies have different version of it. Which one is going to be more useful for which scenario? And then I'm trying to help these managers to understand this technology, these suits of the technology that's available to them, and then when they should use them, and then how they should use them in order to get best return on their investment from these GPT models. That is one part of the story, right? So you have to understand all of these things. The other part of the story is people that we haven't talked about. You and me may be okay with the AI, but someone who has a concern that his job is going to be taken over by AI. How to address these in the organization, how to talk about why we are doing this Gen AI, when we are doing this Gen AI, how we are going to bring this Gen AI to the organization. And the solution that we are offering in terms of the communicating and socializations, how to have a dedicated team for each of these actions, how to control over these changes so it has a minimal impact on the behavior of the associates that work in the organization. But there is a skill gap that you have to fill, right? So how to fill those skills out for the people, for the associates that never use AI or they have a concern, and then they are going to have much higher performance if they use it, but they may think that okay, AI is coming to replace them. How to address these type of issue in the organization. So it is not only the technology part, it is changing the management, it is in changing the culture of the company. And then all of those should be addressed if you want to have a scalable and reliable Gen AI models in the organization that is going to increase your performance by 10 times. So both of those should be addressed. And then I talked about all of those in the book.
Just let the audience know too. So Mehdi and I are both writing books. I'm writing one about empirical energy. He's writing this enterprise Gen AI for energy executives. We're running them. And so every week we get together and have our little book club and give each other tips and stuff. So I have been learning a ton about how, even though I use Gen AI and all the different tools like ChatGPT or Grok or Claude or whatever. It was so great as you can tell me how they work behind the scenes, which is fascinating. But just let everybody know that we're having an upcoming conference and there's going to be a registration link below this video. It's going to be in September. Both Mehdi and I are going to be speaking there. We're both introducing our books and then giving the story behind the books as well and answering questions from anybody. So I really want to encourage anybody, if you'd like more info about that and be able to sign up to see us live and launch our books and everything, that would be there. So before I end, final question, Mehdi, would be, where do you see all this going? So much has changed so rapidly. You even mentioned the last 3 years. Project out for the next 3 years. So an energy executive, they're going to be now running a company 3 years from now. What's the impact of Gen AI going to be on their company, or what could it be?
I think the impact is going to be huge. There is let's say that everyone is in the industry, in the Gen AI part, is talking about AGI. So we talk about the generative AI and then how it's transforming all the industry and then how they are increasing the performance of the individual companies 10 times and that it is not luxury, it's essential. But everyone in a couple of years, they're talking that AGI is coming. And AGI is artificial general intelligence. It is something that can think, can do stuff on its own, and it's going to be completely different. Everyone is scared. Some people are scared that, okay, they are going to come and then we are going to be out of a job. Some people think, okay, this is going to be very important because it's going to change the whole industry, the stuff that is going to do, right? So they're talking about in the coding industry, in the stuff that we are doing in terms of for example, writing the software, there are going to be models that's doing those stuff. So we may not have that much demand in the developing the software or website or app. But I think it's going to generate a lot more new opportunity in the job that we haven't seen before. So think about it, that a new line of the jobs that is coming, that's managing all of these AI. Someone should sit behind the scene and then understand all of those and then decide which one is going to be better, how to use it, how to combine these together. So the management of these generative AI is coming as a new job title. But definitely I'm thinking going forward is going to be massive change in the industry. Some of those jobs probably gone, but there are going to be a lot more new jobs using this GenAI in the incoming years. But no one knows if the AGI is coming and then how that's going to change the whole industry. That is something that everyone is talking about. We haven't seen the AGI yet, so you have to still sit behind the computer, tell the computer what to do. But in a couple of years, you may not do that. Think about as a very sophisticated assistant that can do lots of things for you, and then sitting in your computers and then you just tell them, okay, book a flight, and then it will do it for you. Or get me some information out of these tables, tell me what is happening, what is the trend, how we are doing, if there is any problem with the data, if there is any problem with the monitoring, if there is any problem with the anomaly, and then it will do it for you without you to go there and then have data engineering, data scientist, data analytics in order to get the data, build the model, analyze the result. But right now, the reality is that everyone should use GenAI because it's going to improve your performance for 10 times. The stuff that we could do in a couple of weeks is going to be a couple of days or a couple of hours. That is the difference that he's making right now. And it is not like you go back and they say, okay, the work that I'm doing for 2 weeks right now is 2 hours, so I can get time off. It is like everyone doing this stuff, so their performance improve 10 times. You should use it. You shouldn't ignore it. Definitely that's going to improve the performance you have at the work.
Fascinating. I know it's made huge difference even in this project we're doing for writing books. And it's just pretty amazing the kind of research that it can go out and do and help us with this stuff. Anyway, Mehdi, I'm super grateful that you were here and we could talk about this, and being in our own little private book club has been fascinating. Again, anybody who's interested can sign up for this conference to see us live, launch our books, and ask us questions, and we'll be giving updates on all the case studies that are inside of our books. So appreciate it, Mehdi. Thank you a bunch.
The Empirical Energy Podcast requires more than a conversation. It takes action, research, and collective wisdom. If today's episode resonated with you, we'd love to hear your insights. Join the conversation and help us shape the future together. We'll be back with more stories, strategies, and real-world solutions that are making a difference for everyone. In the meantime, be sure to subscribe, rate, write a review, and share it with someone you think would benefit from it too. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.